To record. What's going on, guys? Sorry I haven't dropped an actual video. Just these past 3 days been really busy, so anyways, today I want to talk about my first experience when I went overseas. So the people that don't know, I was stationed in Norfolk, Virginia, right? And I want to say about 2 months after I checked on board, my senior chief, she pulls in another cook and myself in, and basically says, well, she pulls me in first, says, look, blah 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 blah, came back saying that they need a couple people because they're about to go on deployment and they're suffering, and you came to my mind at first, and what does it look like? Are you down to go? And their home port is in Rota, Spain. So I was like, dang, growing up watching soccer and stuff, I was like, Spain would be down. So in my head, I'm like, yeah, I'm down to go to Spain, but whatevs. Anyways, so I thought homeboy and myself were gonna go to Spain. They both were gonna basically, oh, you both want to go, but now it was just room for one. So whatever. So I just told him, I was like, hey, say yes if you're down to go. Anyways, it turns out that it was only me going, so whatever. And I'm going to Spain, right? Road to Spain. And the crazy part was, it was from Norfolk to Chicago to Madrid, Madrid to basically Cádiz, or whatever, whatever the hell you say it. Anyways, I went to go help a ship called the USS Donald Cook, right? It was the DDG. I originally was stationed in a LSD, the ones that carry the Marines to wherever they need to go and stuff like that, So it was a big difference, but it was kind of cool though, just because the ship that I'm in is a little bigger. So it was nice going to a ship that was a lot smaller. You can find space a lot easier. You don't have to feed as many people, and it was a cool little experience, not gonna lie. And yeah, it was chill. Spain was, I didn't really have anything in my head as far as how it was gonna be, but Spain was definitely fun. Those people would definitely know. They know how to party, and I come from, my parents are from Mexico. I've been to parties of that nature and stuff, and yeah, they get down. I see where people from Mexico get that, because when I was in Spain, man, it was crazy. These people do not stop partying, and that whole siesta thing is true. They be doing that. You be minding your own business, wandering around, and around like 2, 3-ish, 1 to 3 or 2 to 4, you start seeing everybody start close the stores, and you're like, what the heck, what's going on? But it's because they encourage people and businesses to take a siesta so that they have enough energy to party all night, because that's basically what it is. I remember this one time very vividly, and this is not a shock to me, but it was crazy, right? So a couple homeboys and we ended up renting a car. People that I started talking to over there. We rented a car and we went, and probably I want to say like an hour away, where like the bigger cities at, and we went to the mall. Hanging around, having a good time, whatever. Got some clothes, basically go shopping, eat some food. Anyways, we're coming back. It's about 11 o'clock. It's about 11 o'clock, about to hit midnight. We finally get to my homeboy's pad. I'm staying over, sleeping on his couch. And I just remember, I'm over here getting ready to go to sleep, shower, start putting stuff that I'm about to go to sleep in. And he comes in all nice, dressing look, and he's like, bro, what are you doing? I'm like, what do you mean, what am I doing? I'm getting ready to go to sleep. And he's like, nah, bro, we're about to get ready to go out. And I'm like, out? Bro, it's like midnight, about to be 1. What the hell is there to do? Mind you, this is my first time actually going out there and to see what's, basically going out. And sure enough, we get outside and man, it is packed. The streets are packed. I'm over here like, bro, what the hell? And then it's like, no wonder these fools be taking a siesta. It was a good experience, The women over there, I don't want to sound mean, but the women over there are whores. I'm not gonna lie, especially the ones that live near the naval base. They're whores. They're sluts, And trust me, I seen it with my own eyes. call women that, but they need help and they were acting like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and then there's this thing what they call the rotocrawl, where you basically start somewhere, you go around every single bar, place, hookah lounge, whatever, and you basically just go in there, drink, and then bam, bam, until you finish till the last one. I honestly forgot what the names of those. It's been a while, but yeah, it's pretty fun. I did my first rotocrawl. Actually, that was my I want to say my second or third rotocrawl. The first one was crazy. I ended up drinking too much. I blacked out, and yeah, it was insane. But yeah, we did the rotocrawl, and yeah, it's pretty. I mean, if you're still into that kind of, you know, activities, you know, it's fun. You're definitely gonna get some, if you know what I mean. But once you are kind of not really in that scene, it's kind of like, oh wow. You don't really see a point into it, but whatever. Anyways, it was fun. We did that. Whatevs. Spain was fun, and because I went there around November-ish, and they're only out to sea for 4 months, right? So Christmas and New Year's was coming, and since I was a TAD personnel, my peoples was like, hey, you can go home if you want to, because technically you're not a part of this ship. And in my head I'm like, oh, for real? But then I'm just like, bro, I have to pay that out of my own pocket, and that is not a cheap ticket. Going from Spain all the way to California and then back, I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Not only that, I was just an E1. I wasn't really making that much money, you know? So I was like, you know what? Not doing it. I'm gonna just kick it here. It is what it is, you know? Plus, it's gonna be like 2 weeks. You know, they were still gonna be in port, you know? But they just weren't able to go home. But I was like, you know what? We're still gonna be on land. I'm chilling. And yeah, it was a good decision because we ended up getting a 96 for, it was either Christmas or New Year's. But we said, nah, bro, trust me, you don't want to go out. I mean, I knew this from the start because I think this is in every culture. Christmas is more for family time. New Year's is more like if you're alone, single, friends, drink, this and that. So I was like, you know what? Let's make plans. Like, what's up? Like, yeah, let's all go to Madrid. And we ended up getting some people, and they were down, whatever. We was all down. But something happened. Someone had duty the day of. Like, they were turning over the day of. And we're like, you know, we're not trying to really rush anything. So we ended up going to Sevilla. You know, train ride was like an hour and a half, maybe. It wasn't crazy. And you know what? Sevilla was a dope experience, you know? We got to see a bunch of like scenery stuff, like crazy cool buildings, architecture. We ate some good food. You know, we were just out exploring, doing tourist shit. And then I remember it was like around, anyways, I don't remember what time it was. It was during that night we were drinking. I remember I was wearing a New York hoodie because, you know, I didn't pack for like the dress code that they had, you know? Anyways, some girl was like, oh snap, are you from the US or whatever? Are you from New York? I was like, nah, homie, I'm from Cali. And then she's like, what? No way, me too. And I'm all here in my head. I'm drunk in my mind. I'm just like, who would have thought that I would find somebody from California at this spot at this specific time? Anyways, I just thought it was a trip, you know, small ass world. I'm sure she was in the Navy or in the Army, one of those two. But anyways, Sevilla, cool ass experience, cool little thing. And I remember the people from there, because, you know, I'm the only one that speaks Spanish out of the people that I was with, so I was basically translating. And one of the people was like, hey, so what are you doing here? And you know, a lot of the times they don't want you telling people that, oh, I'm in the Navy or whatever. So I was like, oh, I'm here playing with Sevilla, the B team. And those fools were like, oh, no way. And then apparently Spaniard people find it amusing when people from Mexico or people that speak that kind of Spanish, when you say no mames way, they find that so amusing. And they're like, can you say it? And I'm just like, what the? I'm drunk in my head thinking like, bro, what's wrong with these fools? And I'm over here like, fuck, whatever. And I just kept saying no mames way. And they're over here like dying, laughing. Well, anyways, my charismatic ways of talking ended up, you know, getting the whole group lucky. So, you know, I guess that's one thing. But anyways, Sevilla, fun. Spain, fun. Glad I went on that, you know, mini deployment. I met some pretty cool people, some nice ass experience. We went to other countries too, but I'm not gonna get into that. I'm just saying, like, my first experience was, you know, technically was when I landed in Spain, you know, Madrid and all that other good stuff. But other than that, you know, it was a sweet experience. Definitely recommend anybody who's getting asked, hey,